So roughly 5 months after Fedmeister, a former member of the offline TV content house, was accused of sexual misconduct by multiple people, his 25-page response to those allegations was posted to Twitter. The only problem is, Fed never wanted that document to be made public, and according to him, someone he trusted leaked it to social media. In it, he not only apologizes for his actions, but he levels new accusations at Pokimane. And so, naturally, this caused a giant mess online. Guys, we are moving closer and closer to 2 million subscribers, but we need your help to get there. All I need you to do, it's really quite simple, is scroll down and hit that subscribe button. Alright, so all the drama that we're talking about today popped off when a 25-page document written by Fedmeister was dropped in our laps on Wednesday afternoon. The catch here is that he never wanted the document to be made public, and in a statement he made after it was released, he says that somebody he trusted actually leaked it to social media. But before we go any further, there's a bunch of context I have to give you for all of this to make sense. So, let's rewind 5 months. Back in late June, Twitch experienced a wave of sexual misconduct and sexual assault allegations, which we reported on.
Over the past few weeks, there have been more than 300 allegations of sexual assault and sexual misconduct against members of the esports, gaming, and streaming world.
And one of the situations that we talked about involved Twitch streamer Fedmeister, who was once a member of Offline TV. Now, multiple members of the Offline TV house accused him of sexual misconduct, with the original allegation coming from another streamer in the house named Yvonne. She posted a twitlonger alleging that Fed came into her room in the middle of the night multiple times and inappropriately touched her. As a result of these allegations, Fed was removed from both the Offline TV content house and from the company itself. Following the announcement that Offline TV had removed Fed, Pokimane shared her perspective on the situation on stream.
I felt a growing distance between me and the people within Offline TV, and also the people within our greater friend circle. This was coincidental with the time that everybody was also becoming a lot closer to Fed.
Not long after that, Fed tweeted out this apology and then pretty much went dark. He wasn't streaming and he wasn't active on social media. Now, it's important to talk about Fed and Pokimane before we move on, because their relationship takes up a large portion of that leaked document that I mentioned earlier. In the video that we just showed you, Pokimane talks about how she eventually had to clarify to Fed that despite their close relationship, they were only ever just going to be friends. She also alleges that Fed told other people that they were, quote, seeing each other when they weren't. He tried to isolate her from other OTV members by spreading rumors, and generally just caused distrust amongst the friend group.
He would lie about me a lot, create narratives in his favor, and insinuate a lot of negative things which drove everyone around me away from me.
And finally, Pokimane discussed how Fed would talk negatively about Yvonne, how she does nothing to help OTV, and that they should kick her out of the house. This last bit is important because, again, it comes up in the leaked document that I mentioned earlier.
He would talk to me about how Yvonne was lazy and not working enough and playing League all the time. And I was concerned. And he would say, oh, she won't work on OTV stuff with me or brainstorm and blah, blah, blah. This discussion got to the point of us almost letting Yvonne go from the company.
Which brings us back around to Wednesday, November 25th, which was when his 25-page response to those allegations was leaked online. Now, a lot of that document is your garden variety twitlonger apology, and a lot of it focuses on the relationship between him and Pokimane. Quote, I have already apologized to Yvonne and Lily privately, and this statement will in no way contradict their stories. Instead, the purpose is to address the individuals that I believe are twisting the truth for their own benefit. For my own health, I can no longer stay silent. End quote. Now, I'm not going to go over all 25 pages because honestly, nobody's got time for that. But I will highlight portions where he talks about his and Pokimane's relationship because it's here where things get really messy. Fed basically says that, while he did make mistakes, quote, watching Poki talk about all of the things I've done with little to zero context about our relationship hurt me pretty bad, end quote. From there, Fed writes, quote, I definitely did some questionable things and broke her trust, but there are some claims she makes about me and herself that are either false, twisting the truth, or misconstrued, end quote. He also says that it was actually Pokimane and not him who wanted Yvonne fired, with the documents showing screenshotted text messages from her as proof. The rest of the document includes things like a section on EDC 2018 where he told the guy that Poki was interested in that, quote, there's something going on, end quote, between them, which made her upset. A section on what he saw as repeated patterns of behavior in their relationship that caused him to feel frustrated and led on. A section where he tells a second guy who he didn't realize Poki was into that, yeah, quote, there's something going on between us, end quote. On top of all of that, there's a section on the aftermath of the intervention that members of the offline TV held for him. In it, he talks about writing multiple drafts of a statement that never saw the light of day because of a situation he describes as, quote, a really bad game of telephone, end quote. Really, this whole Fed Pokimane situation comes down to two people saying that they were manipulated by the other. And of course, because these two people are incredibly popular personalities, thousands of people were following the situation as it unfolded. Livestream Fails was inundated with clips of streamers like Destiny reading through and reacting to the document, people making wild speculations, and generally shitting on Pokimane.
I'm sorry. She's just lying right now. Oh no.
That's
She
not all
needed
stuff.
way better lies for this. These are bad lies. You just have to read the text messages. These messages that she's sending are not reading like somebody like, man, Yvonne, after, you guys inappropriately had that thing, Yvonne really seems like she's compromised and she sent it. That's not what her texts read like at all. That is just not true.
Now, eventually Pokimane jumped on stream and addressed each section of the document and Fed's response. She reiterated that she only ever wanted to be friends.
Told Steve essentially that we were a thing long after I had this conversation with him about I just want to be friends.
She talked about how this drama with Fed is nothing more than, quote, a bunch of regular 20-year-old relationship bullshit, end quote, and how it's irrelevant compared to the initial sexual misconduct allegations.
All of this is really not all that important. It's regular 20-year-old relationship bullshit. He said, she said, blah, blah. Nothing that important happened, in my opinion. What I shared about the Steve situation is my honest truth. And I feel like it is just really irrelevant in comparison to the incident that actually triggered all of this.
And in a pretty heated moment, Pokimane talked about how, while she didn't handle this situation perfectly, nobody was meant to see all of this because this was a personal situation between her and Fed.
I just don't know what to say. I didn't handle it perfectly. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry you guys have to read and learn about this cringy shit. But you're not meant to because you are never in my shoes. You were never in his shoes. You were never a third-person observer.
Now, in a statement he released after the initial 25-page document was leaked online, Fed says that he wrote all of this shortly after the accusations were made. Quote, I was encouraged by my friends to write out my side of things. However, I did it while feeling extremely vindictive as I felt that someone I had once deeply cared for inaccurately spoke out against me. To this day, I do believe that I was mischaracterized. However, after talking to Poki, I came to understand her perspective and decision-making, end quote. Now, we're at a bit of an impasse at the moment, with a lot of he said, she said going on about a personal situation both people probably just want to put behind them. And honestly, we should let them. This figurine of me that I got had me thinking that movie. How I'm a narcissist. Listen, I got this for free based off a article that I wrote, which I'm not gonna fucking talk about it here because it's a long-winded story, never mind. What this got me thinking about was that movie Toy Soldiers.
God, it's so dangerous when you think.
That's not fair. I forget the Chewbacca-looking dude's name, but he was my favorite. And that all-out war that they had at the end, it's fantastic. I need to go back and watch this movie now because.
Wow, your description is so visceral. I can barely hold my excitement to rewatch.
Why the fuck am I still holding this up?
Because you love having your little friend to talk to.
All right, I'm done.